Murder, She Watched contains adult themes and adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Murder, She Watched is for entertainment purposes only. Hi, everyone. Hi, couch detectives. Welcome to Murder, She Watched, the podcast where we solve murders from our couches. I'm joined finally today by Keisha from Pink Shade and Libra Lounge with Keisha. Hi, Keisha. How are you?
Hi. That intro made me feel so adult-like. I'm like, This is the ID channel. Here's my chance. After all the shows that I've watched, I'm like, I'm on the ID channel. Knock on wood. I just want to give commentary.
You and I have talked a lot of reality trash together.
Yes,
but we've never teamed up to solve a case together. So,
and mostly because you're smart and you know that I'm quite immature. And
no.
But case is so close to home.
You wanted to do this case because this is in your backyard, right?
Well, I sent it to you and Kimberly. I'm like, Oh my gosh, they would love this. And here's this huge update that you're like, do you want to do it with me? Like,
don't ever send me a case idea, because guess what? Then you're getting pulled in.
I was like, I wasn't expecting that, but sure. Yeah, I can do this.
I will admit I was only to Texas once. I was in San Antonio. Is that the one with the river walk? Yes. I was in San Antonio. Real quick, I was in San Antonio March 2nd to 4th, 2020. So I flew home on a completely empty plane because the world was beginning to shut down. It was super weird. So I don't know this I-45. Now I know Galveston because we all know my man Bobby Durst did some killings down there.
Yes. Everything for me is I-45. Like I-45 is 2 miles away from my house, and Calder Road is 1 mile away from my house.
Do you ever go over there and like try to look for bodies, or are you afraid you'll get murdered?
No, you know I don't like to be outside. I'm more afraid of being outside than I am the murderer, because I know I could probably talk shit and they would say, we don't, she's too much. No, but I don't want to be outside in grass.
You're right. And a snake might come upon you, or some bees, or just humidity. Yeah.
Humidity. And right now we are having a huge love bug issue. I don't know if they have love bugs where you are.
I know them. Yeah.
And I have a phobia of them. That's from Catholic school. There's a long story. It's on my podcast if you guys want to listen to Catholic school stories. But yeah, it's not extremely hot yet, but it is rather warm outside.
It's very, like I was telling you before we start, it's very humid here. All of a sudden, it was 40 degrees the other day. And now it's like 75 and super humid. It sucks.
Do you know how much I would love for it to be in the 40s right now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that would be heaven.
I know. I have friends in Arizona who are like, we're just ready to cry. Like, when is this going to end?
Yeah, it's coming.
All right. So quick question. Crime Scene, the Texas Killing Fields. Had you watched this before?
I watched the So I got to be honest. When the documentary first came out, I started watching episode 1 and I couldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't do it. I was just like, this is so close to home. None of this bothered me that much as a teenager when a lot of it was happening. But as an adult, I'm like, my kid is driving. It just hit too close to home. So I did sit down and watch it in preparation for this show. But like literally, like Tim Miller, his office is right here in town.
I mean, love that man.
We are. Yeah, I know.
I love that man. I love a parent, because I know that's the kind of parent I would be, and I suspect you as well, who's like, I will move heaven and earth to either find my child or get justice for my child.
Yeah, I mean, he just made this his life's mission. And I mean, I mentioned it on my show. I don't know if my parents would have made it their life's mission. They would have milked this for everything.
My mother would have. My mother would have. Yeah.
They would have teamed up. They would have been like, on this interview, you cry. On that interview, you cry with the right eye. I mean, they would have cashed in on this opportunity.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I could see a little bit of that. The woman who directed this, so this was actually produced by Ron Howard and Brian Grazer. Is that his name? His little partner there?
Yeah.
So it's well done. Like, it's a well-produced, well-done documentary. And it was actually directed by Jessica Dimmock, who did the 2025 documentary, which I cannot and have not watched, which is Thoughts and Prayers, and it's around the active shooter training in schools, which I can't watch. So let me ask you, I know you're Libra, and I know you're younger than me. So did you grow?
Am I?
Yeah. What year were you born?
79.
I was born 77.
Yeah, we're super close.
You're younger than me. So my question is, was this a thing when you were growing up? Like, did you know?
Yeah. So I moved to Dickinson when I was in junior high school. I graduated high school in 1997. So some of the earlier cases, no.
Right.
When I was in high school, or maybe a year afterwards, some other cases happened. Like, I got to be honest with you, I really didn't start paying attention until it was what was her name? The little girl from Friendswood, Laura Smither. Yeah. So that's when everyone started.
That's when
really
everyone paid attention. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a case after her, and this girl was like literally the same age. So yeah, we started to say, oh, okay. But until then, we heard stories. Okay. It was always like a buzz going around.
It's interesting because I was watching, so I'll get to it at the end, guys, but there's been a development, like an arrest in this case, which is why you reached out and you were talking about it. And I was watching an interview with the prosecutors who are going to prosecute that case. And one of them is like around our age, maybe a little bit younger. And she said, I grew up here and we were not allowed to like go near Calder Road. And she said, I remember one time I got a flat tire driving on Calder Road and my dad said, keep driving. I can replace the rim. And I'm like, oh my God, that's hardcore.
We didn't go around Calder Road. We didn't go around Calder Road or Cemetery Road. Okay, Cemetery Road, we kind of broke that rule a little bit because one of our friends had great parties down there. Okay. But Calder Road, it was always something spooky around it, you know? But we were dumb and stupid, so we got it, but we didn't get it, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And I could see we were, you know, I had an older sister and she was kind of like dabbling in the whole satanic panic thing. Like we used to take a Ouija board to graveyards at night and try to like, I don't know, summon the spirit. So I could see she would have been all around this, but
she might have cracked the case.
maybe. Okay, so south of Houston on I-45, there's a lot of small towns and bayous and you know I'm obsessed with the bayou because I'm in love with Rod Blanchard, and I would love to go down to the bayou. Gypsy Rose's father.
Oh yeah. That's all. Yeah. Got you. I know you're like me. You because Mary Payne questions me about men that I like as well, who I'm obsessed with. But you take the cake.
Yeah, it's all trash. It's all trash. But there are these, you know, areas to hide a body from. I guess it connects like south of Houston to Galveston.
Yes,
see, we have an interstate like this as well. Interstate 81 connects Philly to here. Yeah.
So Galveston to Houston, all of it is I-45. And I'm right in between all of it. We're the Dickinson Gators. So we're the swamp.
Okay.
Yeah, so that just lets you know. There's lots of.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. That just sounds hot.
It is.
Like not hot, like hot, but like hot, like, I need my central air.
Yes, you're very correct. It gets quite nasty down here. Yes.
So the Calder Road fields are in this area. They were once owned by a petrochemical company. They're called the Killing Fields after a documentary on the Khmer Rouge. Is that how you say that? I think so. The whole Pol Pot thing.
Yes.
In Cambodia. So that's kind of what they started calling this area was the Killing Fields. So April 6, 1984, there's a couple who had a house on Calder Road and basically dog runs into the woods, comes back with a skull. That's never a good sign. That's not a good welcome here to the neighborhood gift.
No, that most definitely. You do not want to see your dog running up to you with a skull. No. Especially when you could tell it's a human skull.
Like, no, thank you.
Yeah. No.
1986, two boys riding bikes in the same area find a skeleton of another woman. And when police are looking for clues for that one, they find another woman. So like now we have 3 victims.
Yeah, that's serial killer numbers right there. Yeah.
we meet Catherine Casey. I loved this woman. She's an author. She wrote a book on this, and she's just got that voice where I'll listen to anything she says.
Yes, exactly. She could read me anything, and before I go to bed at night, I'm like, read to me, please.
Yes,
please.
yes. Some people say that they listen to my podcast as they go to bed, and I'm like, I have literally the worst voice in the world. Like, it is squeaky, it's raunchy. Like, I don't understand this, but hey. Okay.
I can totally see it because we all sound different when we listen to it, but you do kind of have that calming voice. You do.
Well, they could put on Kimberly from A Date with Dateline, get the same effect, apparently, because we're voice twins.
I know. I don't get it. People say that. I'm like, I don't hear it.
Once in a great while, I'll hear it, but it's not often.
You got to be listening for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we meet Tim Miller. He's the founder of EquiSearch, and he's very involved, and his company doesn't charge the families a cent to look for them. I love this man.
And I cannot tell you how many families that and here's the thing. He doesn't just help families here. He will help a family anywhere.
I know.
For free.
I know.
Yes.
I know. He started this because his own daughter, Laura, disappeared in 1984. So he tells us the story that he was going to work and she wanted her boyfriend to come over. And long story short, they had just moved there and they were not able to get their phone hooked up yet. So she had to go to a payphone. Right. And her mother gave her a ride. But then the mother was like, dude, you need to stop talking to your boyfriend. Like, I have to get back to work. And Laura says, I'll just talk a few more minutes and I'll meet you at home. She never comes home.
Like, as the mom and as the boyfriend, there has to be that heavy feeling of guilt. Her mom's like, if I would have just made her come, or the boyfriend's like, if I would have just gotten off the phone with her, just
you're right. I especially think of the mother because as moms, like, we do this to ourselves all the time.
Yes, we
do.
I
should have did this. I should have did that over stupid things. I can't imagine it over a murder.
Right.
So cops are no help, as always, because they just think she's a runaway. There's a lot of that. There's so much of that in these cases that I cover from the 70s and 80s. Like, so much of this, she just ran away. She just ran away. Where is a fucking 16-year-old going? Where is she going?
I mean, especially back then, there was like nothing around. Like, I was looking at the store, like, what is that store now? Like, trying to figure it out. Like, there was nothing here, nothing fun to do. I mean, if you weren't running off with your boyfriend,
no.
Where are you going?
And Laura had seizure disorder. Like, she needed medication. That's what Tim and his wife thought at first. They're like, oh my God, she must have had a seizure and she's in the hospital somewhere as a Jane Doe. We better figure this out. But then we learned that the skull that the dog brought back, that was belonging to these people. Tim didn't know this, but a few months earlier in October 1983, a girl named Heidi Fye went missing, and she lived right by them. And Nina, her niece, is in the documentary, and she says Heidi was on her way to Houston to see her boyfriend. They were going to move. I couldn't really get clear what was happening here. They were moving a trailer, essentially.
Yes.
And she walked to a store, called somebody on the payphone. It's this fucking payphone. I'm like,
I know.
Ugh. Like,
we needed your sister's Ouija board to figure out what was going on with that.
We needed one cop to just sit outside the convenient mart and keep your eyes on the payphone at all times.
I have to tell you, just from being down here, there is a cop who has the time to do something like that. Okay.
She worked in a bar called the Texas Moon. Now, is that still there? Do you know?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
And the cops, again, well, she ran away.
Right.
So I'm sorry. It was Heidi's skull that was in the dog's mouth because Joe, Heidi's father, would not give up on this. And he's out there launching his own investigation, recording things, doing everything. And then we find out that she was found by this dog.
And these men are doing this without any of the technology that we have now. Like, literally, you've got to go in a phone book to find someone's phone number. You've got to drive to their house. Like, you can't Google search them or anything. And yet they still did it.
And this is part of, too, like, I know I rag on the cops a lot, during this time period, but they also, you're right, like, are working, like, they don't have DNA. They don't have, a lot of it is very old fashioned detective work. And you don't always get that right, unfortunately.
No. I mean, sometimes around here, they don't even get it right with what we do have.
Same here.
Listen.
So Laura disappeared in 1984, same payphone. So Tim's like, I don't think you have to work very hard to connect these dots here.
Yeah.
Like clearly they are connected, but the cops are telling the family, don't talk to each other. What?
How weird is that? Like, why would they? To me, it was like the cops would want all the support and help that they could get. You know, these parents talking, but I honestly feel like the cops just didn't want them in the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want them in the way.
100%. So all Tim wanted was for the cops to search where Heidi was found. That's all he wanted, to search for Laura where Heidi was found. And 17 months later, in 1986, those boys riding the bikes that I talked about, they smell a foul odor, they find a body, and they go out and look for evidence, and they find a second body. So Jane Doe number 1 had been shot with a .22 caliber. And the second body was identified as Laura, and they had to use dental records to identify her.
And I'll just go as far as to say is that around here, it is not... to smell something suspicious is not really odd. Yeah. Because we do have there's a lot of agriculture around here. There's lots of animals, coyotes. So to smell something foul is not a big deal. But the decomposing of a human body, I have to say, Keisha,
you're not really selling us on moving to the Houston area.
Here's the thing. Not just because of this reason. There's so much traffic in Houston that people are like putting up signs, stop moving here. Stop moving here. But yeah, Galveston County, that's where I am. Galveston County, it's got pretty areas, and then there's shitty areas.
Yeah. So this is so frustrating because there was a blue plaid Western shirt found by Laura's body. It had stains on it. They take it into evidence. That shirt is missing today. Where is it? Where's the fucking shirt?
I tell you, I got involved in local politics around here.
Oh boy.
And so I learned a lot more about like the DA, and some stuff is just still really slow down here. And it's just slow, and things like that records have just all of a sudden disappeared. And then especially after COVID, like literally information just got lost. It's like, how does it get lost? And this is now.
And we see that a lot with cases around Hurricane Katrina too. Like a lot of shit got lost during that. It's really, it's scary. So Tim is like, if they look when I asked them to, maybe they would have found some evidence. And I know what it's like to feel paralyzed and not know what to do. That is what killed Heidi's dad, Joe. That man died of a broken heart. And this is where, Tim Miller's like, fuck you guys. I'm going to form my own search company.
Thank God. I hate that it was because of that reason, but he's just helped so many families.
We get a little background on Houston. In 1971, it was a city of 1 million people. I wonder how many people are there now. Do we know?
1 million too many. And one.
I think I looked it up, and I think there were maybe 8 or 10. Does that sound right? 8 or 10 million? Maybe.
When we're on 45, it seems like it's a lot. Like everyone wants to move here for some odd reason.
Houston, what they had going for them at the time, and this is interesting because Timmy and I are watching For All Mankind. It's a show on Apple, and it takes place in Houston. And it's around the NASA Space Center. So like we're seeing all of this happening, and that's what was going on at this time.
NASA's right down the road. The astronauts that just came back. The black guy lives here in League City. That's where I live.
Was he the first black guy to go to the moon? Is that what I heard?
He went the furthest. The same with the lady. She was the first female to go that far.
That's 20, 30 years too late, but great. Yes.
I know. We're still making first.
So it was growing quickly. And with this growth, because they also had an oil boom, they got drifters. You get drifters, you get transient people. And Maria Johnson and Debbie Ackerman, they were 15. They disappeared in November 1971. That's young. The bodies are found pretty quickly, though. They're found in a pool of water 50 miles west of Houston. And the medical examiner thought maybe they were in that pond for 24, 36 hours. There's others too, like many others. And in 6 months, they had 7 teenage girls and young women found murdered.
That's crazy and so scary.
We meet Marla. So Marla's parents divorced when she was young. Marla was in the 5th grade. Her mom rolls up with this boyfriend. And this boyfriend is tall and brooding and wears a cowboy hat. I probably would have gotten sucked in by that. And his
at
name
least for a night.
Yeah, yes. And his name is Clyde Hedrich. He was handsome then, not in later ages where he just
he didn't live a very good life.
He fully embraced that mullet too. Like it was hardcore mullet. And he was handsome. He liked to go to bars and he was a dancer and he like won a bunch of competitions. He kind of set up a meeting with Marla's mom. Like he really honed in on her and kind of wanted her.
All right.
And he had come to Houston from Florida because of the construction boom. He became a roofer. You know, I'm going to say something. I'm married to a construction worker.
Okay.
And Timmy was a union carpenter for 20 years. And there's a lot of shade thrown at carpentry in this documentary and many others. Like, oh, all the murderers just become carpenters so they can murder people. I'm like, okay.
Man, they're gonna have to do a documentary about carpentry is still such a great a great thing to do. Like we need you guys.
So Marla's dad is like, I'm gonna check this guy out that's living that my ex-wife has moved in with my daughter, and he finds that there's like a long record, and he was in prison for abuse of a corpse.
Thank God because especially back then when it wasn't that easy to look up someone.
Yeah.
I think the mom probably had a pretty bad picker, and this was one on a list of bad guys that she's bringing home to her freaking teenage daughter. Jeez,
I know. So this guy Clyde, let's talk about him for a minute because this documentary is kind of all over the place timeline, so it's a little confusing. But basically, Kevin Petroff, the ADA of Galveston County, he's your ADA, your assistant district attorney, tells us that Ellen Beeson lived in Friendswood, Texas. No, did she live in Friendswood? I thought Laura did. No.
Laura lived in Friendswood.
Sorry. Yeah. Ellen Beeson, she's in her 20s. She has a good job. She's into dancing. She goes to the Texas Moon with their friend and she meets Clyde. Never heard from again. Thank you. She's in Dickinson. He claimed that, so they asked Clyde about it and he's like, oh, I saw her get in a truck with some friends and just take off. Then for some reason, this guy just likes to tell on himself. He ends up showing her friend, oh, you want to know where Ellen is? Let me take you out to where her body is dumped. This guy's not real smart.
This is the kind of thing, not that I would kill a person, but let's say I killed a person. I would keep their whereabouts pretty close to the chest. The rest of my life. Like, but he's something in his head just didn't click.
I know. And this,
but thank God he could dance.
I know so many guys like this, you know?
Yeah.
So he takes this woman Candy out and he's like, here's your dead friend. And she's like under a burnt up couch and stuff like he discarded this beautiful woman as a piece of trash.
Yeah.
And Candy waits. We don't know why, but she waited 6 to 7 months to go to the police. And the police are kind of like giving her the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe she was scared. Maybe he threatened her. We don't know.
He probably did. Yeah. But I still would have told. An anonymous phone call, perhaps?
Anonymous letter.
Yes.
You could do the Ronnie's cheating on you. What's her name? Snooki's letter.
Yes.
She did.
You could do that.
You know, who wrote the letter on Jersey Shore? Was it?
I'm not a Jersey Shore person.
Oh my God. I thought for sure you would have been.
Many people have been surprised by that.
I'm surprised by that.
I never got into it.
I unfortunately absorbed a lot of it, but whatever. So so Clyde tells the police that he and Ellen went to a swimming hole and wanted to go skinny dipping, and she just drowned. He was like taking his pants off or something. He turned around, she's floating.
I mean, it could happen.
But what would you do? You'd call the police, not this guy. He ditches her body.
I would try to pull the person out, perform CPR. I don't know. He just danced and went on about his business, you know.
And this is another issue with the landscape there is that the body was so badly decomposed, and because of the water, like everything revolves around the water.
There's a lot of water, nasty gumbo looking water, and then we have alligators.
Oh, can you swim anywhere down there? I mean, I know you could swim in the Gulf.
Girl, you could not even pay me to get in the water in Galveston. As a matter of fact, I don't even walk on the sand. We just go down there to eat and go shopping. That is it.
Like, new idea for the Libra Lounge with producer James takes the handheld camera out there, and you have to get into like a swamp.
Okay, so when James and I were dating, there is this neighborhood, and they have this huge like little bank of water.
Uh-huh.
And I must have really liked him back then.
You were cool girl for a little bit.
He was like, let's go skinny dipping. I'm like, I've never been skinny dipping. And I was like, okay, fine. But I was horrified there. He had to hold me up. I was so afraid that like a piranha was going to get us, an alligator. He did not have the fun he thought he was going to have.
I always say the woman Timmy lives with now is very different than the woman he dated, because that woman would get on a quad. She would go hiking. She would do all sorts of things. Not this woman.
We're not. No, we are seasoned women now. Yes.
So Ellen was found around the same time these other 3 women were found in the killing field. So Clyde is a main suspect for all of these women. And Catherine Casey says when she was writing her book, the League City. Now, where's League City? Is that?
So League City and Dickinson are right next door. So this is how close they are. My address says Dickinson, but we pay all of League City taxes, but our kids will go to Dickinson schools, but we can only vote in League City.
Gotcha.
That's how close they are. They're like twin sisters, but League City's better than Dickinson. If anybody asks, that's what they say.
Okay, gotcha. Well, when she was writing her book, she reached out to the League City Police Department, and they were like, fuck off. We don't want to talk to you. And she said the one person who talked to her was Tim Miller. And that's how she got a lot of her information. Tim says,
I'm not surprised.
Tim says, the minute I learned about Ellen Beeson, I wanted to learn more about this cat, Clyde Hedrich. I don't know if Tim said cat, or if I just felt like he was the type of guy who would, so I put it in there for him. I don't know. I may have made that.
I feel like he would say. I mean, this is like during the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think he would say cat. Yeah.
And it turns out that Clyde lives right by Tim Miller.
I know. Yeah, like houses down.
Yeah, and he's like, one time I even gave him a tire. Like, I didn't even realize it was the guy. And then Tim said one of Laura's friends reached out to him in later years and shared that she and Laura would walk an alternate path to avoid Clyde's house. We've all had that house in our neighborhoods.
Yes, where it's just, you've heard something about that person, and you just, everyone tells you run real fast when you pass that person's house.
Yep.
Like, it happens in almost every town. It's just that, stay away from that person. Why? I don't know. Just stay away.
Just don't find yourself. We have a house that I used to pass every morning when I drove the girls to school, and I would say, if you guys ever find yourselves in that house, you've done something wrong. Avoid it at all costs.
Yeah.
So in 1991, they find another body. So now they have a Jane Doe and a Janet Doe,
which is so sad, because I don't think they ever got the identity of these 2 girls.
Oh, they do. They do.
Oh, they do?
At the end. Yeah, at the end. They do.
Okay.
They do genetic
after all that time.
Genealogy. No
one
forensic
knew who they
genealogy.
were.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But they were Jane Does for a very long time.
Years. Probably 2 decades. Yeah.
And no one was looking for these girls. That's what's so sad.
Well, and here's the thing. The one girl, it turns out her family was looking for her. But the problem is none of these police departments talk to each other. Like if League City said, hey, neighboring police departments, we have these 2 girls that we can't identify. Are you guys missing anybody? Like they maybe could have found this out.
Yeah.
So we meet Richard. He's with the FBI, and he says Tim had some suspects, and Clyde Hedrich was number 1. But the cops were not convinced. They didn't have enough evidence. I mean, the guy led you to a body. What more do you need?
I mean, he would be number 1 on my list for sure.
And he had a huge rap sheet, Keisha, of like domestic violence.
Yep. I mean, this is just not a good person.
He's
But
not a
bring
good
him home.
dude.
Bring
Yeah.
him with your teenage daughter and son.
Yes.
Yeah.
What they're worried about now is that someone read about the killing fields and hid their dead bodies there. Like, they're worried that people are copycatting. They don't have DNA at this time, so this is real creepy. They make like sculptures of what the girls might look like from the it's scary.
It is not what it is today with how they can tell you how someone has aged or look or something like that. Yeah.
This is classified as a serial killer, so the FBI is able to come in and do this. They don't really know where to start. They go to the press and they release a profile. So the BAU, the Behavioral Analysis Unit, is new at this time, kind of. And so they developed this profile, and they believe the killer probably lived close to the field, kept clippings or newspaper articles about the crimes, had a superior attitude, and has problems with women. And I'm like, you probably just described like an entire population of people in this town in the 80s.
Yeah, we got a lot of rednecks, and
I live in an area with a lot of people like this.
Yeah, I'm like, you can pass. You literally can pass by 10 guys at HEB that fit that profile right now. So yeah.
They have someone who could match. The guy's name is Robert Abel. He was a former scientist for NASA. He actually helped create the Saturn rocket, which I learned a lot about in my For All Mankind watching.
Okay.
And he owned the killing fields land. And he kept insinuating himself into the investigation. He had 3 ex-wives. None of them liked them. He had this little like horse trails business on the property. And his wife said he would beat the horses.
You know, and I feel so bad because this is all horrible, but you know, my heart started to literally cry when I heard that. I'm like, you fucker, you beating horses? Like
we're covering on Patreon, we're covering Making a Murderer. I don't know if you saw that when it came out, but
no,
like all the things with Stephen Avery that there could be, the fact that he murdered a cat is something I can never forgive him for and will never forget. And to me, that tells me everything about his character.
It does. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but Mary Payne knows this. I can see a small animal and I will literally go climb a tree to breastfeed it if I have to. Okay. That is how much I love animals.
You are an animal rescuer. Yes.
I love that. So to hear it, just why even have the horses if you're going to beat
I know. It's really bad.
Horrible person.
They write up an affidavit. They search his house. They find clippings. They find human teeth with gold crowns. Never really explained that. More on that, please. And they find a 22, which
is the same kind of gun. Yeah.
But they couldn't match the bullet because the medical examiner had boiled the bullet and stripped it of all of its evidentiary stuff. So Skip,
so much wrong.
I know. Skip, who's a reporter, says, I talked to Robert Abel, and I don't know. I mean, vibes. He didn't seem like a killer to me. There's a lot of vibes. Like, he didn't seem like a killer. Okay.
All right.
They didn't have enough to arrest him, but they always treated him like a suspect, especially Tim Miller.
Yes. And people still talk about that now. Just how... Yeah, because it was so bad that it kind of took away from some of his credibility.
Tim,
because it turns out he was really wrong, you know,
and he harassed the shit out of this guy.
Harassed. So people still talk. I mean, you say Tim Miller and all the great things that he's done, but they will always bring this up.
Yeah,
always.
I get that.
Yeah.
In 1997, a 12-year-old girl, Laura Smither, goes missing. She was on question for you. You have a daughter.
Yeah.
At 12 years old, would you let her go running by herself? I was kind of like, wow, that's young.
She can't do that now, and she's almost 24. I'm like, well, one of us will be behind you in a car, you know. And let me say this, and this, it's horrible, but I know this happens a lot. Now, you've talked about all these cases that have been open for years.
Yeah.
Laura was the case that just made everything explode. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Here in Galveston County, we've got all these small towns, okay? Collectively, you've got your list of these small towns that no one wants to claim they're from, okay?
Okay.
So for instance, Lamarck in Texas City is predominantly Black. Okay. Dickinson is a nice mixture. You get to League City, and League City is one of the places that everyone wants to be. Santa Fe, you've got all your rednecks and allegedly the KKK. Okay. Now you're following me a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're moving more north, and we get to Friendswood. Friendswood is one of the top places that you want to live. It's very rich. It's very white.
I was going to say, is it like nice white Christian families?
Yes, with lots of money. So that is the reason why everyone heard this story.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It's unfortunate, but it's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, when I'm like, God, she's 12. You have 30 missing women in the area, and you just.
Well, because it's Friendswood. That doesn't happen in Friendswood. That happens over there. That's Dickinson. That
makes a ton of sense.
Happen here.
That makes a ton of sense. Her mom is British. I was like, oh, how'd this happen? Then we learned the story that she was the nanny.
Yep.
And the dad married her. Now the dad did not leave the mother. The mother passed away. Yes, and then he hired the nanny and then started banging the nanny. So we're not throwing shade on the dad. This was totally appropriate.
The dad didn't have much to say in the documentary either.
So they show up in full force for this girl. The police, the FBI, 6,000 people, even a contingent of Marines. Were looking for her. I'm like, wow.
Because you know what? Bullshit walks, money talks. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
You've got the money. So yeah.
And you know who ends up finding her? Like just some dude walking his dog finds her in a pond, and it was 17 days. So now there are 35 unsolved cases in a 3-county area, all young women.
Now our parents are getting concerned. So for our safety, me and my friends, well, we're in a group. They can't take all of us. You know, they can't just snatch one of us. And we thought if we stayed in a group and with a knife, we were fine.
Well, and there's this whole discussion about these fingerprint and DNA kits. So one woman is like, you know, it got so bad here in Friendsville. Like we were so freaked out that they gave out in school fingerprint and DNA kits. I don't know about you. What year was your daughter born?
02.
Okay, mine are 06. We got this in school. They got like, it was like a missing child kit. And I had to like write down all their stuff. And it was weird.
Skylar went to preparatory school. And I'm trying to, because that sounded familiar when they said it.
Yeah.
But I don't remember doing it. Or not. I was a single mom. I was struggling. So I don't remember.
You were just trying to get through the day.
Just trying to get through the day. So that, it sounds real familiar. So maybe they did do it.
I just remember it freaked me out and I refused to do it. I was like, I'm not signing this. No. So now we're back to Marla. Remember, her mom is dating Clyde and she's starting to remember the sexual abuse she suffered at his hands. Yeah. She tells her mother. Her mother doesn't really believe her. She believes Clyde, which don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
Her mother eventually left Clyde. And once she left Clyde, then she starts telling Marla like all the shit that happened, including the fact that Clyde had been spying on Marla through a peephole in the wall.
Mom's a class act.
So they take Marla to the cops and she gives a statement and everything. And she said they never did anything about it. Like it was just like, okay, thanks. And just poof, right in the trash when she leaves the police department.
And I'll go back to what I said earlier. Poor white kid from Dickinson.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And according to Marla, Clyde at one point told her mother, "Oh, I did it again." And he came home covered in blood with a knife. Pro tip. If your loved one comes home in the middle of the night covered in blood, call the police. Just don't even ask questions. Just call the police.
James has come home like that.
Was he hunting though?
Well, they were hunting.
Okay.
And you know, they're even with that, I'm like, I'm not talking to you. Because I don't believe in hunting, but he's like, we got a boar, got a 2-bore, and he's covered in blood.
That is an appropriate thing. Yes.
Yeah, that's quite odd. Even for these parts, that's quite odd, you know.
July 1997, it's 3 months after Laura Smithers' murder, and Kelly Ann Cox drops her daughter off at her mother's, and she disappears. And this was in Denton? Where's Denton? Is that close to you too?
I don't know where Denton is, but I remember we had the billboards down here.
Okay.
Because this is the case that, like, okay, this girl is kind of closer to our age. There's billboards. So us graduating from high school, I don't know, for some odd reason we paid attention to this one more because they showed a picture of her. Her hair was styled like ours, or like her clothes were like ours. So
she wasn't. Oh, shit, she probably wasn't much older than you guys.
No, yeah. So we were like, okay, this is starting to get serious.
She was in college and she was going on a tour of the city jail with her criminal justice case or class, and her car wouldn't start, and she called her boyfriend from a payphone and then vanished. Let's just rip out all the payphones. Can we do that? Jesus.
I mean, or we can get your sister's Ouija board. I'm telling you, if only we had that Ouija board down here, she would have cracked these cases in record speed. I'm telling you.
August 1997, Jessica Kane goes missing. She was leaving a restaurant. They found her car abandoned on the highway. She was in Tiki Island, Texas.
Okay. I'm sorry. Fun. That's the case that she's close to us. That was the case that made all of us pay attention. We were like, holy shit, that's Tiki Island. Okay. That's right by us. The billboards were all up. So this one scared us a lot.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah. And they're like, we've had a pause in finding bodies from 91 to 97. So I wonder if something was going on there. But I'm thinking to myself, just because you're not finding them doesn't mean he's not killing them.
Exactly.
He could still be pretty active.
Yep.
So with these new murders, Tim Miller becomes convinced it's Robert Abel. He just harasses the fuck out of this guy. He's leaving him threatening voicemails. He's trying to dig up his property. At one point, though, he does dig up on Abel's property woman's clothing and a purse.
Yeah, that's not good.
What's that?
That's not good.
But no one could prove a connection. Abel eventually has to file a PFA against him. He has to sell everything and move. And then in 2005, Robert Abel ends up driving his golf cart onto the train tracks and died. And people are like, we don't know if it's suicide or an accident. It's suicide, guys.
It's suicide. I just...
You're in a golf cart. You could easily get off it and run.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was... he either died from... Look, this clearly is not a good person either. None of the men that we're talking about,
correct
people at all. So God knows what he has done in his life that no one knew about.
Yeah.
But the fact that Tim Miller was harassing him was not reason enough for him to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Something else was
going on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get kind of this break, and this is what kind of breaks open the case a little bit. Is this Sonia Sepa is her name? And she was grabbed at a convenience store, and this badass woman jumped out of a moving truck on I-45. Now, if it's traffic, she might have been at a standstill.
Yeah.
But they made it sound like she was moving because they said she barely survived this.
If you're jumping out of a moving vehicle on I-45, you're fighting for your life because people don't give a fuck when they're on I-45. They drive all kinds of crazy. This was a fight. She's like, I may die, but I'm not going to die by the hands of this person.
Yep.
I may get hit or, from the fall or whatever. Yeah.
I would have the same thought, but I would never have the guts to jump out of the truck. Like I would have the thought to do it, but I would be terrified.
Right. Yeah, she had to be she's like, this is the only way I'm going to survive this. I gotta.
She watched Oprah. She knows you don't go to the second location. You go to the second location, you're dead. You're dead.
Yep.
So she is able to describe the guy. She didn't get the license plate number, but she's able to describe his truck. It's a dually. She's able to describe this guy as white, mid-30s, medium build, receding hairline, black cowboy hat, bags under his eyes. That was the most defining feature.
Right. She really looked at him like she was studying him. Just because the detail of bags under, unless there's really fucking bad bags under his eyes. I mean, that's just not something you're thinking about when someone's kidnapping you.
But when you saw the sketch and you saw him, you're like, oh, yeah, I see the bags under the eyes.
Yeah.
They don't say in this documentary how they got this guy, but they got him.
Yeah.
And the best part is they bring him into this lineup and they're like, number 4, please step forward and repeat after me. I will kill you, bitch. The guy's like, I will kill you, bitch.
Right.
These lineups always, I just get a little kick out of it.
They're funny. I mean, they really are. Because I would try to like disguise my voice the best that I could, you
I'd
know,
be like,
and they try to do it.
bitch, I will kill you. I'm from London now.
Yes, British accent and all. Yes.
So this guy is Bill Reese, and that is who they do a search warrant for his house. They find the truck. They find the black cowboy hat. Like, it's him. He was working in construction. Go figure. Surprise. He was a sex offender out of Oklahoma, had just gotten out of prison. He was working in a subdivision right near Laura Smithers' house. And at 9 a.m. on the day she went jogging at like 9:15, he was being sent home because it was raining. So they're pretty much like, dude, we know that you took her.
Right.
They look at him for the Calder Road killings, but he's in prison at the time. So now they're like, there's two serial killers acting independently of each other. This is wild. They are able to tie him to Sandra's kidnapping, Jessica Kane, and Laura Smither eventually, but they only try him on the kidnapping because they didn't have enough, of course.
Right. I hate that.
I hate it too. We just did the Susan Cox Powell case. I don't know if you know that one, but it's the one where he clearly killed her and then was like taking her children, and he lit the house on fire with him and the kids inside. Like, it was all over the news when it happened. And it was the same thing. Like, the cops knew this guy did it, but they didn't have enough.
Ooh,
I say frame him for something.
Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, you know. We've seen cops do worse. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But he is sentenced to 60 years, which is a pretty good sentence because he's older. You know, he'll die in prison pretty much.
Yes.
Catherine Casey tells us she interviewed him for her book, and she says, you know, he claimed he didn't even know these girls, but I left pretty convinced that he did it. I just didn't have the evidence. Tim and the cops now turn their attention back to Clyde, and after the abuse of a corpse charge, he just kept getting in trouble with the law. And Tim tells us Clyde would dump his building materials. I don't know if this is a thing by you, but it is a thing up here where we constantly have these small construction companies just dumping their waste because they don't want to like pay to take it to the dump. You know what I mean? They might have a truck full of stuff to dump, and they just like go into the woods and dump it. Yeah, it's really.
I'm sure that happens here because we have a lot of wooded. We wouldn't be talking about this if we didn't have a lot of wooded areas around here, but I'm sure it does happen.
Yeah, and he used to dump his building materials, shingles, everything on Calder Road. And Tim says when they found Laura's body, they found stuff like that, like building materials near her. So the DA's like, yeah, we think it's Clyde too, but we just don't have the evidence. So what they decide to do is the one thing they can get him on is they're going to look at the Ellen Beeson case again. And they not open up her grave. They exhume her grave. And they find she has a massive skull fracture, which could only be caused by somebody hitting her. Blunt force trauma.
Right.
So we see him interviewing Clyde, and I don't know why this set me off like it did, but he claims to not even know her name. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. You went to jail for kidnapping her or for abusing her corpse. And you're claiming you don't even know her name. Whatever.
You know, in this sick world with someone who has a mind like him, he probably fucking didn't. He's probably done so many things to so many women. They're just numbers to him. They're not people. He doesn't see women as people.
Yeah.
You know?
You're right.
Man.
So they're able to charge him because they had, the evidence that he had dumped her corpse, but also there was a jailhouse snitch. Love a jailhouse snitch.
Me too. I love them. Yeah.
Yes. And they said that not only did he tell them he murdered Ellen Beeson, but also Laura Miller. And so the DA puts this all in like charging documents, and Tim Miller happens to see them. So now Tim Miller finds out this way that not only did this guy kill his daughter, but he raped her too. And Tim is, real angry that he found out this way. So in 2014, Clyde Hedrich is on trial and he's found guilty of manslaughter. Marla testifies in the penalty phase against him. And he gets the maximum, which is 20 years in prison, which in my opinion, not enough.
Not long enough at all.
The evidence was either never taken or poorly preserved. For example, that shirt they found next to Laura Miller's body, gone. Where is it? Where is it?
How does it just disappear? Like, how is it that it's not someone's fault? You like, how does it just? I don't understand. And we hear stuff like this often. It's just like, how does that happen? Someone please explain it to me. Someone just decides to go in there one day and say, I'm going to take this shirt and just, I don't know.
In 2019, they used genetic genealogy to identify Jane and Janet Doe. Janet Doe was Donna Prudhomme and Jane Doe was Audrey Lee Cook. Audrey Lee Cook was a mechanic. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
She had like a kind of, and in the picture they show of her, she has like a little Rosie the Riveter look. Like I kind of liked her. Yeah. She was cool.
And you don't hear about female mechanics that often, you know.
We wrap up with a montage of Tim Miller doing his searches. We see that he's connected with Marla. He brought her out to Calder Road to see if she recognized being out there when she was a kid with Clyde. And she sees this weird like water spout, probably for like irrigation. And she recognizes it immediately. And October 2021, Clyde is 67 years old now, and he's only served 8 years, and he's released because of some fucking legal reform. They didn't even really get into what it was, but he's out of jail.
Stupid.
On June 29th, 2022, Billy Reese pleaded guilty to the deaths of Laura Smither, Jessica Kane, and Kelly Ann Cox. And then also, this was not in the documentary, but I found this out. Tim Miller filed a wrongful death suit against Clyde. And he won, and he was awarded $24 million, but I don't think he has seen a dime.
I don't think, and he never will.
No. Okay, so let's get to the quick update of this.
Okay.
So this is breaking news. March 31st.
2 weeks ago.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
James Elmore was arrested and charged with manslaughter in the death of Laura Miller and 2 counts of felony tampering with evidence related to the disposal of bodies of Miller and Audrey Lee Cook. Authorities allege that Elmore contributed to Miller's death by, ready for this? Providing Hedrich with cocaine that he had given to her. So he was giving her cocaine. Like, I don't know why I'm so weirded out by that, but I just don't like it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I was trying to find out, Keisha, like, how did they find this guy? You know what I mean? Like, how?
Yeah, so I'm a little fuzzy on some of the details because I have to tell you, I don't watch the news. I don't.
I don't either because I don't want to jump off a cliff. But also, I think they're keeping it under wraps because I really couldn't find a lot of it. What I did find is that he had reached out to Tim Miller and was talking with him and providing him information about the murders that had not been made public.
Right. Yeah. So like I said, I don't watch the news. If my parents don't tell me something that was on the news, I don't know it because tell me something on TMZ, I've got it. I mean, I'm your girl.
Yes.
So I tell you what, my dad, if anyone has been obsessed with this, you should have had my dad on here. It was my dad. Because it has always freaked him out that we live down here.
Yeah.
The fact that we live so close, he's like, I don't understand. You girls need to be careful. You know,
I get it. Yeah.
I mean, every time there's a hard rain, I think in his head, he thinks it's going to be like Poltergeist when it rains and all the dead bodies pop up, all the bones and stuff. I'm like, Daddy, that is like, we don't even think about it because, I mean, when we go to Dutch Bros or Kroger, we go down Calder Road. It's just been there for so long. Which I know sounds bad. You just life goes on. You know what I mean? Like it just does. And it's sad. But I am so happy to know that Tim Miller will die in peace.
Okay. That's what I was going to tell you. When I got to the end of this, I was like, oh my God, please let Tim Miller still be alive. I was a nervous wreck.
Oh yeah. He's alive.
He was gone. And And so, oh God.
I told my husband, I said, this man will actually have the opportunity because here's the thing. All the families that he has helped at the root of it, he's helping Laura. He's helping his daughter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So now and you can see, I don't know if you've seen interview outside of this, but we've seen so many interviews with Tim Miller and there's just something in his eyes that's almost like, so like soulless. Like my
Yeah.
soul is just gone. Like,
Yeah.
so now I think that this will give him the peace. And I'm so happy it happened before he passed away.
I
You know
am
what I mean?
too. I am too, because
Yeah.
he's
Because it
he's
doesn't
up
often
there.
happen like that. Yeah, he's up there. And
Yeah.
it usually doesn't happen like this. It usually happens, well, unfortunately, this person passed away before knowing that the killer was caught. So
Yeah. Yeah.
thank
That's
God.
my mother's obsessed with JonBenet, and
Oh
she
yeah.
just wants them to find out who did it before John Ramsey dies. Like, she's already so upset that Patsy died, but my
Right.
mother is team intruder. She does not believe that the parents had anything to do with it. So
That's what I
she
was gonna
wants,
ask you.
yeah, she wants to see the evidence, like them clear it before John Ramsey dies. Because John Ramsey, very similarly, still going around trying to get, the DNA tested and this and that. And
I will
it's
never
heartbreaking.
understand how they have not solved that case.
I don't understand it either.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, they have so much evidence.
I know. I know.
Boy,
I know.
I tell you.
I just have a little after aside here. In
Okay.
2024, the Galveston County DA's office began re-examining evidence related to Clyde and the Killingfield murders.
Mhm.
And so basically, they were closing in on Clyde and they were getting ready to indict him. Like, they were going to indict him. Clyde dies by suicide by going to the hospital, right? He has an issue. He's on a respirator. He takes his own respirator mask off. Who does that?
A person that has done a lot, a person that thinks something else is going to come out about them. Like, just.
But they were
here
like
we
ready
go,
to
two
go.
guys.
Yep. They were ready to go to the grand jury with him. They were probably going to get an indictment.
Here's the second person who was accused of these killings that committed suicide.
So.
They
were seeking an indictment against Clyde for the deaths of Laura Miller, Audrey Cook, Heidi Fye, and Janet Doe, the Prudhomme woman, and against James Elmore for offenses related. So they got James Elmore, but they never got Clyde. But they were closing in on him, and he took himself out of the equation. But they pretty much know that Clyde is the guy who did this.
It's just, this is, I mean, living down here, and like I said, like, Calder Road is a mile away from my house. You just have heard about this story for so long. There's been a movie about it. There's been documentaries about it. So just to hear that it can finally, in a way, rest.
Yeah.
Is really good.
It's just so crazy that, like, there were 2 serial killers, possibly 3, because I'm sure there's still some bodies they haven't been able to tie, working in the same area. It's crazy.
I know.
It's crazy.
And, but you still got to come visit us.
Visit Houston. This has been our tourism ad for the Houston area.
I did not do a good job at all. Everyone, does this bitch like where she lives at? I'm like, I mean, but here's the thing about it: is these small towns are great. I will say that. Yeah. Houston is so busy. Like, we love going to Houston. It's like a 20-minute drive, but we still love the small town aspect of living. You know what I mean? But I mean, unfortunately, this was just, a horrible batch of murders.
And I'm telling you, the 70s and 80s were just crazy. Like, I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and we had a serial killer here. Like, it was everywhere.
It's crazy. It really
we
is.
Live in, it's a surveillance culture now. There's CCTVs everywhere. People can track phones, stuff like that. Right. Women are kind of happy about that.
Yeah.
Because it keeps us safe.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah. But I mean, but even still, like, with our girls, this is always in the back of our heads when we tell our girls what to look out for. You know what I mean? Like, Skylar's like, well, you've got the tracker on my phone. I'm like, that only tells me where your phone is.
Right. That's it. Doesn't mean you're with your phone.
Yeah, doesn't mean you're with your phone. So we just have to prepare them the best way that we can. I'm constantly, like, my daughter's away at school now. She's in Pittsburgh, and I'm constantly like, never leave a party alone, never leave a friend behind. Yeah. Always walk in pairs. Like, this is and my husband, like, his brain just doesn't work that way because he's never had to think of that. They don't. And it's always, you never leave when you're dropping off someone, you never leave until the person's in the house.
Yep.
There's just a set of rules that we just always have given them. And like you, my husband doesn't think that.
No.
Skylar's got a rape whistle. She's got brass knuckles. She's got, mace.
Does she have the birdie alarm? My daughters have the birdie alarm.
She probably does. I mean,
it's a keychain that you just pull apart and it emits the highest decibel sound. Like the neighboring town will hear it. It's so loud.
Okay. If she doesn't have it, she's going to have it by tomorrow because I'm going to order on Amazon. I mean, we've even got the little thing on our keychain. Like if you fall in water and you have to knock open the windshield.
Yes.
We don't freaking know how to use it well, but I'm like,
you'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, So we just have to prepare our girls for just anything, that's just the world we live in.
Women saving women's lives. That's what we got to do.
Each day at a time. Yes.
Keisha, will you tell everybody where to find you?
Of course. I'm the Libra Lounge with Keisha. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. You can find me. My podcast is rated hard R. Always, when people hear me on other people's shows, I'm like, we go hard over there. You're going to hear every cuss word. Like we talk about everything.
It's like Keisha After Dark over there.
It is that piece of my personality that I don't let out all the time. But we talk about real things, pop culture, whatever's in the news. And we also do TV show recaps as well. So,
okay. I'll put a link to your show in the show notes. And you're also on Pink Shade quite a bit.
Oh, I'm also a co-host on Pink Shade. Right now we're covering
Are you doing
Temptation
Plathville?
Island. I am doing the rewatch of Plathville. Okay,
I have been enjoying your discovery of the Plaths.
It is so like, but I think they can't go any further down. They do. I'm just like, what? And I can't watch the newest season. Mary Payne's like, don't you watch that new season? So I gotta wait. And we're also breaking down Ladies of London, which is
cool.
Love that show. So
cool.
Check us out.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.